Now, for the last 3 months, national service personnel who work in subvented agencies have not received their allowance. This has led to calls for a demonstration to press home the demand among national service persons who say government has been insensitive to their plights. The 559 Ghana Cedis allowance delays seem to be an annual fixture for national service personnel who must find other means of sustenance. The national service scheme has not responded to the calls to explain the cause for the delays in the payment of allowances. But tonight, we have two national service personnel who will talk to us about their plights here in studio and how they're surviving. I've been joined now by Julius Anthony Kwame and also Abdul Salam Mohammed. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on Joy News Prime. Specifically, let's deal with issues relating to how you're faring now. And let me start off with you, Julius. How has life been for you as service personnel?
It's tough. It's very tough having to do national service at a cost to yourself. You are paying your own transportation in and out, which the average is about 11 cedis a day if you are using public transport every day. And then you feed yourself. If you spend, let's say, 15 cedis twice, that's 30 cedis. That's 41 cedis in a day. Right. And then you are being given an allowance of 559. 559.
So if we do the calculation,
if you do the calculation, you are in a debt of 671. That's living very moderate.
Going by the average 40.
Yes, going by the average, right. You are in a debt of that. If we measure on 30 days. And still, for 3 months, this has not been paid. What magic are students supposed to, national service personnel supposed to perform? Are we magicians? And we are saying all this without consideration of the fact that when you leave school and you are posted to a place where you've not lived at before, you are supposed to rent and all these things. These rent components and all these things are not even in the conversation. They are not in perspective. And students, the national service personnel are supposed to serve the nation, go to work almost every day. It's a terrible thing to have angry youth in a country like this where nothing is working. And look at the rates at which transportation cost has been increasing. It was 3 cedis 80 pesos moving from Legon campus to Ridge when I'm going for work. Now it is 5 cedis 50 pesos just within less than 3 weeks. And you are supposed to deal with this kind of situation and be patriotic to this country. How?
But Abdul, let me find out from you. Have your managers told you why you haven't been paid as of now?
Well, the information out there is that there is no money. Yes, but they haven't, spoken officially as in why there are delays in the payment. But people are of the view that, and some have also commented that there's no money in the system. But we are waiting for the employer, so that is government, to perhaps, put some light into it. That is basically what.
Have you made any attempts trying to hear from leadership or managers of the national service scheme to at least explain to you why the delay and how long it will take to clear the arrears?
Well, we have. Some of us have. Some of them are even our friends. Those who are heading the NASPA, organization. We've spoken to some of them, and quite a number of them have also explained that. They are also waiting for the secretariat to give them, information. So everybody is waiting because we don't want to speak, and it is like, so we are also waiting on them to perhaps throw more light. But we have spoken to a lot of them.
Julius was just telling us about how life is difficult for many of you who are service personnel now. But are you receiving reports that perhaps some of you are stopping, considering stopping, or have either stopped working due to the economic pressure?
You see, there are two things here. Right. A chunk of us are working at the government sector, where some receive their allowances through the e-switch and all that. Some are also working in the private sector, and majority of them are not part of the government, payroll. So for some of them who receive their monies, even prior before the month ends, some of them are not complaining. And most of them even have...
Okay, so that's all. So we need to draw the distinction.
The distinction here.
Those in the private sector
and those in the government sector.
Yeah,
so
right.
When you talk about people in the private sector, most of them are not even complaining because they have their money, But for those who are in the government sector, those who receive their money through the e-switch and all that, they are complaining. And we see, it is true that life is, hard and cost of living is high and people are struggling to survive. I am a national service personnel, and I couldn't even afford rent outside, so I'm living on campus. Right. And living on campus, I pay? Okay.
You still have to pay.
You still have to pay.
It doesn't
yes. And majority of us consider the fact that if you rent outside, you'll be paying electricity bills, you'll be paying water bills and all that. Right. And even where you've rented, is probably far, like he mentioned, from your workplace. So, I mean, we are feeling it, and some people have also, you know, decided to stop, like you mentioned.
Right.
I know a couple of friends who have stopped work because they think that they have not paid me for 2 months.
Let's hear from Julius as well, because you are a student leader, so I'm sure that the concerns he's raising would obviously get to your table as well. What are your colleagues planning on doing now? How are they planning to at least make up for these hard times?
The personnel are angry, okay, and all they need is a head, a leadership, and they will be on the streets demonstrating. And some of us at this point are willing to provide that service for them. Because ourselves, we are feeling it. Right. We are feeling it. If students start massing up to demonstrate against what is going on, I would willingly lead them on demonstration on these issues. Because it is not fair for any young person to be living under the kind of frustration that we are dealing with. It is not fair to us at all.
Could it not be because of the economic situation that the country finds itself?
See, I don't trust anything that is alluded to, you know, current stand of events in the globe and all that. Because as NUG General Secretary, I've witnessed how within the past 1 year, not a single person has gotten loans from SLTF, for example. So it has been a deliberate, you know, should I say, forfeiture of responsibility towards young people. Why should you go to school and you can't even access decent loans to complete your school? Then you struggle all the way to finish and you can't even get allowance to subvent your transportation costs. It's a terrible thing to be dealing with. So there's no excuse we are going to take, whether global economic issues, whatever it is, we are not going to take it because we are already used to a situation where government ignores our plight. We are used to that situation.
And I'm sure that you've had enough of this. That's why you are all coming out to make your concerns known.
If students start massing up today, as I indicated, I'll be at the head of those.
I was just about picking up your thoughts on it as to what you would both be doing next to power pressure. What next will you be doing?
I'm going to probably stop going to work. I'm going to stop because I can't continue.
Is that a sentiment of your colleagues all across?
A lot of them. A lot of students are fed. You go to Twitter and see. Just go to Twitter, type NSS, and see what is going on. Students are fed up. They are tired. And if I hate to be stressing on this almost every day, but if you calculate the president's private jet expenses alone over the years, it would have paid these allowance if the president was considerate, if he had started using, what do you call it, commercial flight like he did to Dubai. It's not far-fetched. If you are in a republic where the president of this republic, with a population which is predominantly youthful, your ultimate responsibility, number one, is to those people. So if a lot of their needs are not catered for, and you are living in a very profligate style, an Arabian king style of living, why shouldn't we call these things into question? Why shouldn't we? It's not far-fetched for us to call these issues into question.
Abdullah, are you also considering same, at least
well,
stopping
you see, earlier
or waiting for the amounts to be paid and then you get back to work?
The point is that we await an official communication from the leadership. So right now it's like people are quiet.
NASPA.
Yes, not
NASPA.
Not NASPA, you know, necessarily, but those NASPA, you know, serve, okay, they are superiors. So if the secretary comes out with a communique saying that this is the reasons why, or this is the reason why your allowances have been delayed, then we can take it from there.
Are you sure this is not organization specific, where it's just the case that a select few state agencies are not really...
No, you see, earlier on I made a distinction that if you are in the private sector like I am, some of us have received our monies, but my colleagues, a chunk of them that I live with who are in the government sector have not received it. So it's not about agency specific, it's everyone.
But they are in the majority as well.
Yeah, they are in the majority.
They are in the
everyone.
majority.
Yes.
Over 60,000.
Yes. So this is what we are talking about. And to come out now to demonstrate, perhaps would be because of the frustration and the high cost of living and all that. But there was this issue I raised earlier on with my colleagues, some of them when I was coming. I remember, Julius, we had that conversation on Twitter some time ago. And I was mentioning that, look, the NSS, I have come to believe, has outlived its relevance. And for that matter, we should either scrap it or make it optional, in the sense that if people who are willing to do the national service, they are stay on campus, can apply, and those who want to do can do. And those who want to do other things can do that. But to make it compulsory for everyone to go through it and not being paid, I think it is...
because are there some plans in place, Julius, I mean, for yourself, those who are NASPA executives, to try and engage management of NSS on this matter in the coming days?
If you heard me, I earlier indicated that I don't have trust in NASPA.
It's not about the trust. I guess you're doing this because you lead the student front and that you have executives to try and work out a feasible solution for your colleagues. Are you going to do that in the coming days?
Well, yes, I'll reach out to them. That I will do for purposes of doing due diligence. But I want to put it on record. I'm looking my colleagues who are NASPA executives in the eye, and I'm telling them that I do not trust you people to be serving your constituents well.
Are you not going too hard on NASPA?
No, I'm not going too hard on them. It is something they've been doing over the years. I'm not going too hard on NASPA. They take dues from students, from NSS personnel, and what do they do for them? They tell us NASPA club. They should ask the students how many of them are even interested in getting any of those things. But they charge them every single year and serve them nothing. And I'm looking into your faces and I'm telling you, you are doing gross disservice to the people who put you there, and we are going to go after you. These days, we are going to go after you.
When you say you're going after them, I hope you're not doing that in a violent manner.
No. As I said, we are calling them out. We are letting people know that they are there. Some of the students don't even know there's NASPA. The service personnel don't even know there's NASPA. All they know is that they take dues out of their monies all the time, and they don't get any service for it. And I don't trust them to do anything in these issues. So I am calling on them. They either prove us wrong, or we are going to demonstrate to the student how
let me take your thoughts on this, because deductions are also made from your salary, right? So what's your demand from the NASPA?
I've always held a view that I'm a realist. And in this country, I've realized that demonstrations do not work.
You think so?
Demonstrations have never worked. So for us to demonstrate, to go out on the street, it's just piling up the frustration, And you're probably going to get hungry and thirsty, and you will not even get money to buy water and drink, And they will insult you on top of it. So I do not subscribe to us coming out to demonstrate, I believe that they know what we are feeling. They are aware. So for you to come out and demonstrate in frustration is just piling up that, you know.
So demonstrations will not work, but you're expecting that your leadership...
Yes, they should take charge and do something about it. Yes, because where we are now is critical, And this is not the first time we've had such experiences. Last year, for instance, somewhere June, July, we had the same issue that NSS allowances were not paid. And for people who were even complaining with the teacher training, students. And for now, it's been January, February, and March. We are today is what, 18th, right? Yeah. So I think demonstrations will not work, but I believe the leadership are watching and they know. And government should also come out. I want us to be able to talk, to dialogue, as to where we can move this conversation.
Julius, how much more time do you have to be patient? At least hope that something will be done.
Well, at least until by 21st, ordinarily we should know that allowances for the month of March would have ordinarily been paid if things were working properly. So from 21st, which is Monday, we are going to put out a statement, and I'm going to spearhead that.
So you're just giving them 3 days?
Yes. By 21st, we would make our intentions known that this is it. This is the plight we have been dealing with for months. We'll give them that fair warning. That beyond that, service personnel who are willing to demonstrate against the issues, we are going to be at the head of them. Okay,
so what you intend to do is to collate the names, get the names of persons who are suffering as a result of this, and go onto the streets?
And put a coalition. Yes, we are going to do that. By Monday, a statement will be out on this issue.
But you see, you don't need...
If we have angry people, frustrated people, and at least there's no head, NASPA is supposed to be serving as that head.
But some what assurance Abdul, for instance, is saying, for instance, Abdul is saying, don't go the route of a demonstration. Try as much as possible to dialogue. I was making a point.
The point is that if there is that vacuum where people feel that they are not represented, you do not know what course of action they will take. And NASPA is supposed to be filling that vacuum, making sure that we are well represented. As of now, we are supposed to at least see a statement from them. Admitting that we are dealing with a certain plight, which they understand, which they feel with us. But up to now, we don't see any of that from them. And if that space is not filled, if there's no coalition or anything of a sort, where people could even reference that this is where we should deal with, what do you think the frustrated people will be doing? That is why we are going to fill that vacancy, and we are willing to lead them on demonstrations as well. Demonstrations are completely legal. They are within the laws of Ghana. They are ways of pressing our demands. We are going to do it if we don't get any solution.
Julius Anthony, I'm grateful that you've been able to join us, and just to take the final words of Abdul as well, what will be your appeal to management of NSS as we wrap up on this conversation?
Well, so for the most parts, I think they should come out and talk to us why the allowances have been delayed, and so we can move from there. And also, I believe that we should move away from the conversation about I believe NASPA can do better, and over the years they have been redundant. They have not done anything concrete. Yes, so I believe moving forward, they hear what people say, and people who put themselves out for these positions, I think they can do better, not just occupying positions, but they are there to do a service, and I think they should do that.
Julius, your final words on this?
My final words are simple. We put governments in place to serve our interest. The youth are the largest population in this country. If you look at the number of people who have been posted to do NSS this year alone, it's 80,000 plus people who have been posted to do that. You can't frustrate these people and expect systems to be working. You can't have patriotic citizens if these things are the things we do with them at very tender ages. The average age of people doing national service is 23, 24. You can't be treating them like this. So government should step up, solve this situation. They should even be considering increasing the 559. That's what they should be doing at this time.
Right, gentlemen, I'm grateful. We can now go to Araba Kumsin for editorial.